Dunkin' has a whole new line of handcrafted signature lattes. Blueberry Crisp, Caramel Craze, and Cocoa Mocha. They're so delicious, you'll realize that you've been spending a whole latte time drinking the wrong coffee. So even though you've been together for years, it's time to say goodbye to your ex, Coffee Place. Because you've got a latte love for Dunkin's signature lattes. Sipping is believing with Dunkin's new handcrafted signature lattes, like Blueberry Crisp, Caramel Craze, or Cocoa Mocha. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer.
WTF What's the Focus podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Download the Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started.
What's the focus? Pop culture, movies, and TV news. What's the focus? What's the focus?
Welcome, Focus Fanatics. This is WTF, What's the Focus podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Kerrigan, and join with me, as always, Mr. Michael Michio. How are you, my friend?
What's shaking, Ryan?
Oh, man. Well, we had an original plan to do a pretty long podcast involving four separate topics, and
We fucked that up, dude. We fucked that up real bad.
if anybody follows us on Twitter, as soon as we got done with the actual Spider-Man recording, we tweeted out immediately that, man, we just had to stop. It was already at that point 12:30 at night, and or in the morning, I'm sorry, and it just became too much. Like, I don't think we could have. That's not in our wheelhouse quite yet, Mike, to go that long.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're actually taking a chance to actually kind of fulfill what we had promised to our, to our Focus Fanatics at this point. I mean, it's what, 1:18 right now in the morning? Holy shit!
This is called dedication, man. This is what you got to put in the man hours, right?
I'm dedicated to the craft.
Hey, we got busy day lives, and sometimes we just gotta make it work with our schedules, and we are trying to bring these folks entertainment every week, so we're doing our best on our end to actually do that.
This is the only excitement in my life I have, Brian. It's all I have, okay? It's all I have. It's all I got, man. All right? I don't got much going on. Please, let me have my time. Yeah. Sorry. This is already a better podcast. Oh, man. Sometimes you just can't fucking force it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like we were too psyched out about Spider-Man. I don't know. But, anywho. It is what it is.
We definitely could have been too psyched. I mean, I know I was really, really just pumped about it all day. I was sending you messages about it, and I was just like, can we do this podcast now? Can we do this podcast now? And then by the time I got there, I feel like I just shit the bed on it. So if anybody didn't like last podcast, feel free to give us another 1 star, and this time write a fucking review.
Seriously, we already iterated that on the last podcast, but seriously, if you're still that 1-star listener that's listening, fuck you. Who gives you 2 podcasts in one fucking day? Nobody. That's right.
Nobody. Let's go back to our sad, depressing.
That's right.
Just maybe
don't
just play this
fuck
off
with.
A little
Don't. Exactly.
Listen, you're gonna give us a 1-star rating.
Oh man, this almost sounds like a Sarah McLachlan video. You're making me all sad.
Sorry, I thought the sad violin would actually just really add to
In the arms of an angel.
I just see puppies being put up for adoption. This is horrible.
My god, dude, give them all to me, dude. I'm gonna save all the fucking puppies. Like, no, it's ridiculous. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with them, but whatever. I'm gonna have like a puppy farm. It's fine.
That's cool. I'd go to the puppy farm. All right. Well, hey, This is not what we came here to talk about, Mike. We didn't here to talk about puppy farms. This
is our What's the Fucking Focus segment, right? Like, this is our focus of the week shit, right?
I told you, I'm putting a new stamp on this show. It's going to be called the ADHDP.
Yeah. We have issues, bro. I don't even know what it is anymore. I don't even know if that's the condition, Ryan. It might be something else. We might need to go see a doctor.
Maybe. Regardless, this is what we're going to give you. Since we did the Spider-Man episode and released it earlier in the week, this episode we're going to give you just a brief kind of refresh on Stranger Things Season 2. We're going to go into that a little bit, which we have a lot to talk about. And then we are going to break down the new Jumanji 3 trailer, and we're going to actually listen to that together and give you some feedback. And then we are going to briefly give you the latest news on the 2021 The Batman movie starring Robert Pattinson. So, again...
I'm Batman.
We're Batman.
I'm Batman. But I'm also that weird guy from the Twilight series. But that's okay.
That's okay.
Trust me.
Now,
where are the drugs?
Now, I did hear this on maybe it was PCL, but isn't it funny that he played a vampire in Twilight and now he's the Batman? I find that pretty funny.
I mean, that's kind of like the prerequisite to being Batman, right? Like, Michael Keaton played a dead guy in Beetlejuice, so, like, yeah. I mean, you're a vampire, you're dead, essentially. So, yeah, I feel like that's the standard nowadays to being Batman. So, I mean, Christian Bale was obviously dead from the inside out in American Psycho, right? So I guess it's all relatable.
Great call, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. See what happens at 1 a.m.?
Yeah.
You see what happens? You get delirious and good shit flows through the veins, man.
2 glasses of vodka... plus sleep deprivation.
And I don't know how many fucking pours of whiskey I've had, but whatever. Who's counting?
Oh, definitely not me. I don't know if I can count past 5 right now. So, let's just get on to it. But we have a special rating system. I don't know if everybody's actually heard how we do our focus meter, but we have a brief recording of how we do it. And now you can hear it right here.
Hey everybody, it's yours truly, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm here today on behalf of both Ryan and Michael, and I want to go ahead and tell you about WTF's Focus Meter. So let me go ahead and break it down for you. Alright, it's going to be very, very simple, alright? So sit tight and pay attention. Sorry, I'm going to get going right now. Alright, so now if it's something that had your focus and maybe you wish you never saw it, give it a poor rating. But if it's something that maybe you saw and you're like, hey, I don't think I'm going to ever see this again, give it an average rating. And if it's something you really enjoy, but maybe you thought some things could have been better, definitely give it like a good rating, like 2 thumbs up, whatever, it's good, be honest, and if it's something, that, you just absolutely couldn't keep your eyes off of, and, it's almost like I like to say, it's like, when you're in the gym and you're lifting the weights and you're feeling the pump, like give it like a maximum rating, it's like, it's going to be like super fantastic and you're feeling great and you just want to go ahead and let everyone know it's got your maximum focus, so go ahead and be honest and enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, Arnold versus Liam. Who wins in a fight? Go. And I'm talking about Taken Liam, all right?
All right, no, all right. I thought you were going to say Schindler's List, because that's a badass Liam, too, so...
But in comparison with martial arts and fighting, come on, Taken is hands down.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Terminator Arnold versus any type of Liam, I think, kind of wins, but I don't know.
What about not Terminator? What about, next action hero Arnold?
Last action hero or like Junior Arnold or whatever? Pregnant Arnold? Or the horrible rendition of Mr. Freeze Arnold? Yeah.
We killed the dinosaurs. The Ice Age.
Yeah, I go Liam.
I go Liam too. But I don't know. I love Arnold, obviously. I mean, we were lucky enough to have him on our show. I mean, he actually reached out to us, right, Ryan?
Yeah, personal friend of ours, no big deal, NBD. But, you need another guy who knows another guy who knows another
Fist
guy
pump, bro.
Who knows Will Sasso, and then we get Arnold.
Yeah.
I'm here to pump you up.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Well, first off,
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. All right. I to start this, I want to be really broad. I just want you to first, Mike, if you could, just tell me how you liked season 2. Did you think coming from season 1 that it was a good season? Were you just thinking it felt like a filler for season 3? Like just all around feelings. How did you feel after you watched it?
So, I mean, coming out of season 1, obviously the whole like upside down kidnapping of like the character Will. Like, seeing in season 2, seeing his involvement in this season as to, like, where is he coming from as far as, what type of, post-traumatic stress does he have, obviously, from what he went through in the first season.
That poor fucking kid, man.
Yeah, like, that kid's been through a lot, right? And, I was most intrigued to see how his involvement was going to be in the second season, and to see, him, interact with, try to reacclimate, so to speak, with all the other characters. So, yeah, I mean, also too, I believe season 1 ends with, I believe 11 being. I mean, she's in the Upside Down, but she escapes. But
remember, she gets out of that wall.
Yeah,
she crawls
out of that wall, but then she goes into
that,
hiding,
like dimension. She finds a way out,
and she goes into hiding, right? And then Hopper kind of like keeps her hidden or whatever.
Yeah, so he's leaving her, I believe, like waffles or something like that, like Eggos, and leaving them for her in the forest to eat.
Well, better nutrition than Eggos, man.
And then finally, they meet up, and all of a sudden he takes her now to that cabin in the woods to keep her safe, because obviously she's being looked for from everybody. I mean, everybody at that point within that, asylum is looking for 11. So he's really doing that dad role and protecting her and sheltering her. And it's really like to a point of an unhealthy measure to where she, in this season, just is going stir crazy and feeling more like a prisoner than anything else.
So, I mean, the way that this second season opens, it opens with, obviously, 11 isn't the only one that's been experimented on, right? Like, the Hawkins lab has definitely has different test subjects.
Correct, and she ends up meeting one in the second season.
Yeah.
And I believe she goes by number 8.
Yeah, which is obviously, I guess, the 8th iteration, so obviously 11 comes way after 8, so yeah, it's interesting to see, like, all these different test subjects, what exactly what is the extensive, reach of their powers, or whatever it is. Very interesting. I don't think that the way season 2 ends, it definitely, I mean, do you remember, what was her name? Kali, right? Like, that was her name, I believe?
Number 8, yeah. Yeah, it was Callie or Kali, yeah. Kali.
Yeah, okay. So, I honestly forget what's the last scene we see any of them, or any of the other subjects or test subjects, but I mean, just leading into season 3, that's like one of my biggest questions, is to see any follow up with, the reconnecting of those test subjects, and to see if there's any more connection with 11's character, with obviously exploring their powers together, because it feels like in this season they definitely showed more in detail, like what 11 is capable of, as well as the differences between her telekinetic powers versus what looks like it to be like some type of like mind manipulation.
Yeah, illusion casting
has,
abilities, right? Is how they preference it. Yeah,
exactly. So there's what's really cool about the show is that there's so much mystery in it, and with that, it's interesting to see. How exactly are they going to flesh this out? For me, this really reminds me a lot of the series Lost, where it just set up itself with, this big realm of mystery, and, it kind of fleshed things out here and there, but like, are we going to get the answers that we want to get, moving forward?
Sure.
So,
and, a question that was asked when I was reading up on this online is, technically you could look and you could say, there's 9 other special kids out there somewhere that could potentially be brought up in this next season.
Yeah, which is crazy, because that's a lot, man. Like, what makes 11 so much more special than the other kids is she's just like the last iteration of the last test subject that they use in the Hawkins lab, or
were the other ones killed off and she's the remaining? I mean, we just don't know those questions yet. They haven't answered that, but they're definitely getting to it, bringing in these other now powers.
Exactly.
People. So we're definitely going to see something that's going to give us a little more, I hope, some more answers within that realm.
Sure. And then, my biggest, thing I want to call out here is, what exactly is 11's connection to the Upside Down? Because she seems to have such a connection, or, she was definitely either made or created to, to connect to this other parallel, multiverse or whatever, universe or whatever this is, right? Like, this is a literal mirrored, world of, our reality in a more darker, climate or whatever.
Sure,
right?
And I wonder if that's an actual mental connection or a physical one, the fact that she's actually the only one present to where the hub of these, portals or whatever dimension doors are actually, where she is. The other girl, 8, she's in India a majority of the time is where she starts. So she's not anywhere close to this. So what I'm saying is technically all these kids could be affected just like 11, maybe if they were that as close as she is to like the actual hub of where all this stuff is taking place. We just don't know, right?
No, we don't.
Maybe
we have
if
no
she
idea.
was further removed, it wouldn't be as big of a deal as what I'm saying.
No, it's true. I mean, I go back and forth as to where they're going to go with this series, because obviously how season 2 had ended. They're definitely exploring some deeper aspect as to what the Upside Down is capable of. But this whole concept of this mind flare, it's going to be interesting to see how season 3 kind of, for season 2's series finale to literally end with that shadow monster glooming over, the town of Hawkins. It's interesting. So I'm intrigued to see how these characters, or just 11 herself is gonna, or if she's gonna actually have to combine forces with the other test subjects to actually go in and and help out in the Upside Down, and to literally I don't know, like, it makes me wonder, like is there some way to cease the connection between the worlds so that they're closed off and that there's no there's no way to get in between or like cross that parallel universe.
I think they're going to have to do it together. I think there's going to have to be multiple supers together in order to actually complete that goal. And obviously this is not a series finale. This is just a season 3. They have not announced that this is going to be it by any means. So I hope they don't just start pulling at strings, and I hope they have this planned out far enough in advance to where it feels really organic and real, and they're not just, extending it just to extend it, is pretty much what I'm saying. Just because, again, how many times now are we going to see the same monsters over and over again, or the same character being possessed by, anything that's happening in the other side, or whatever, the Upside Down, it's just... It's getting a little repetitive, so I'm very much curious to see how they're going to kind of turn it around and make it something fresh within this 3rd season.
Yeah, the whole thing is like, there's so much mystery with what's involved. I honestly wonder, are they actually going to fulfill like the backstory of the lore of this world and to show like what is the actual connection with the Upside Down to the real world? And why does it actually exist? And, what was the actual initial, connection point to, us having an actual gateway portal to, getting to this? Was this just via a science experiment or some spiritual, seance, something? Or, it seems like what they've been going with, it seems like it's some type of experiment. Obviously they've definitely have played around enough with the whole 80s nostalgia of like, playing off of the ET or whatever, and definitely trying to fulfill some part of what we've seen in the other movies and whatnot. But like at this point, it needs to have its own identity. So I'm really intrigued to see, are they going to actually flesh out the backstory of all this mystery we've seen in the first 2 seasons? Because I don't feel like we've been given enough at this point.
I agree completely. I really hope we get those answers, because, again, I don't want to go another season being like, fuck. I still don't get it.
Hard.
Like, by season 3, you should be giving us a lot more information, just a lot more backstory to just start tying everything further together. Because I'll be really annoyed if we don't, to be honest. And obviously this is coming out, today. Happy 4th of July, by the way.
America, fuck yeah. Freedom isn't free. It costs a hefty fucking fee. And if you pay your bucko fine, you'll see.
Shit, I might just have to end this podcast right now and go watch it. See you later.
All right, bye guys. I'm gonna go check out the Upside Down later. But seriously though, like there's so much fucking like unanswered, questions with this show, and it's great to lead off a show with so much mystery, just like how Lost did. But at some point, are you just gonna leave it to open interpretation, or are you gonna actually flesh this shit out and give us some explanation as to, what is the connection and why does this world exist?
Sure.
And, I mean, the thing is, like, with all great science fiction films, to some extent, some of it is explained, but some of it is not. It's open for interpretation. But for me, I would really like, for what I've seen so far with this show, it seems like it's more geared towards, there is a purpose as to why this shit is happening. So please flesh that out. Because I would love to have some type of fulfillment at the end of this, because the first 2 seasons were great in building up that that realm of mystery, but at this point, I feel like we are due some answers.
Yeah, agreed. So, Mike, I want you to help me out with just one quick part of this, and it's not like a full breakdown, but I just want to kind of recall at least what we remember of the last episode. Of this last second season, just so people, if they are listening and they didn't feel like actually going back and watching that episode, at least they can, take what we know and hopefully move forward. And it doesn't have to be the full episode, but from what I remember at the end, a large majority of what we saw in this show was the character Dustin hiding a baby Demogorgon, right?
Yep.
And he named it D'Artagnan, which I thought was hilarious. One of the Three Musketeers.
Demogorgon or Demo Dog? Like that was a different
Demo Dog. Yeah, I
don't know if that means that's the baby version of the Demogorgon. I don't fucking know. But apparently there's 2 different species. It sounds like. But yeah, go ahead.
So it started off as a slug kind of thing, and then it evolved and started growing. It got so big it ended up eating his cat. It got out at one point. They were all looking for it. Dustin found it first, hid it under his hat, and then stashed it away. And then it just got bigger, to the point where he caught it, threw it in the basement, let it go. It got so big, it then tunneled its way out of there, and then that was kind of it. I mean, we didn't see it for a while. The last episode, from what I recall, just in a nutshell, the last scene, you see all the kids pretty much running away from a pack of these, either Demogorgons or Demodog, whatever you want to call them. But they are very much fighting them off. I know Steve, was wielding that Keegan bat, and he swings a couple of them off a couple times, which is cool, just defending all the kids and everything. And then at the same time, that's when 11 goes into that caged elevator, and she goes into the basement to where the pretty much central hub of this alternate dimension opens up. And as soon as now that main hub is threatened by 11, all those Demogorgons stop what they're doing and stop attacking the kids, and they go rush now to where 11 is, because they know that that's where the threat is now coming from. Am I saying that correctly?
No, I mean, that sounds about right. Absolutely. But, I mean, what's interesting is, from how that season had ended, that all makes sense and whatnot, but Will's vision, I think, was obviously shown early on in the season. Like, he was having these
really
visions.
early. I think it was the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, right. And then at some point, something takes over him, right? He gets possessed by something, right?
Bob, his mom's boyfriend. I'm sorry,
Sean Astin.
Yeah,
Samwise Gamgee.
Rudy, man.
Rudy, bro.
He says to him, I used to be afraid of stuff in my dreams too, but at some point you have to stop running and you have to stand up for it and say, hey, it's not real. So he does that, and it backfires, and that's when the big monster actually shoots himself into Will's body and possesses him. And that's when you see the cop, I'm blanking on his name right now, and I really shouldn't, Jim Hopper, he's underneath, he falls into the pit underneath the I believe it's a pumpkin patch, and then they find him, but then they burn the field, and when they burn the field, Will starts having crazy seizures because now he's interlocked with this monster, and that's part of the living organism on the field of the Upside Down, like underground, and it's burning, so it's like killing Will or affecting him or making him sick. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's like some type of exorcism or something that's happening on him. He's literally possessed.
Yeah, he's possessed. So that poor kid's just gone through absolute hell. But when he was possessed, remember, he also, was asked to make a drawing of what he sees, and his mother was clever enough to know, hey, this is actually looks like almost these connect together like a puzzle. It's like a map.
Yeah.
And so she actually draws it all the way around her entire house. She connects every single piece, and Bob's the one who actually figures out that these are all locations of underground, either tunnels or whatever, because he noticed where certain, bodies of water was, or just a more of a landmark on, on the surface that he was familiar with. So that's how they were actually able to find Hopper in the first place, was through that.
So how does this season end with actually Hopper? Because doesn't he get overtaken through the Upside Down at some point? I mean, at some point he gets, he gets enthralled with whatever, I don't know, whatever those, whatever you want to call the Upside Downs, I don't know. He's like underground and he's getting wrapped up in those branches or whatever, and they're like grabbing a hold of him and whatnot. You remember that?
I don't. I don't really.
Yeah, I'm actually struggling to find how exactly it ends with him. I feel like I don't know if he's still in the Upside Down in season 2, but I feel like that's. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but it'll be interesting to see in season 3 because I've been reading some online rumors that there's some speculation that he might be tied to maybe potentially fueling the emotional part or the emotional entity of the Upside Down that actually is the villain itself. Mm-hmm. That he actually embodies, through his heartache, because he has a storied past, right? Didn't he experience something traumatic in the first season? Wasn't his daughter or something?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's why he actually took on the role for 11, kind of filling in as that father figure. I think that was kind of
exactly right. Yeah, so there's, I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's really some deep material, but I mean, will be interesting to see in season 3 if they kind of address that.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to. Man, I think this is the season where we're going to get a lot of answers because I think they understand. I think Netflix understands that a lot of people have been waiting now these 2 seasons for more answers. And if they don't get it to them, I think people are going to fall off. I think they need those answers in order to stay interested, And I know that from personal experience for myself. If I don't get any answers in season 3, I don't see myself wanting to watch season 4 as much as if I was to, have some more backstory to it. So hopefully we get it. I mean, I'm very excited for season 3. I've enjoyed season 1. I like better than season 2, but obviously I was pumped about season 2, knowing we were going to get a season 3. So hopefully a perfect segue, which I don't mind those series or seasons if I know I'm going to get that season 3. So I'm just excited to see where they're going to take it because, like you said, there's a lot of questions to be answered, and at least we go in knowing that, and so we'll be, I would say we will be very focused on the screen.
No, we will. I mean, I'm definitely. So here's the thing, and I've talked about this before, is that with these binge type shows, it's very hard to kind of retain the information when you're binging a series that you might have seen, maybe a week, in a week's period, over 2 years ago, versus you're seeing it drawn out over maybe a 3 to 4 month period. I know we've discussed this, but it's, we had to do a deep dive recap to even remember what the hell happened at end of season 2. So, I'm definitely intrigued to see how this series is going to, take the next step. But at this point, it's got to deliver on giving more explanation to all the mysteries that it has set up for season 1 and 2. Absolutely. I mean, I know we've already just discussed that, but at this point, I just want to see more, and I want more explanation. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and like I hope we talk about this on a later podcast because, I feel like the first season was a great homage to, the 80s in general for so many nostalgic, material that we've seen throughout the years or whatever through our youth and whatnot. But I'm definitely going to be checking this out, obviously, this weekend and whatnot. So we might actually touch on this on the next podcast. So I'm definitely intrigued to see what's coming next.
Yeah, I agree, man, and I'm excited to actually dive into it and get some real material to work with. So it's gonna be fun to have another show that I can rely on for at least the next couple weeks.
Yeah, what's it been? It's been like, what, a year, almost 2 years since
almost 2 years,
two?
man. Yeah, I think season 1 and season 2 had almost a year exactly gap.
They did, and I feel like they've missed their target a little bit here, and I feel like with that, it's I mean, I've had this discussion with people at work too. It's like, wait a second, what the hell happened at the end of season 2? Like we were just discussing this. Like, we need to go recap and like go see what the hell happened because it's been a while.
Yeah,
right? And not much happened in season 2.
Let's not forget R.I.P. Rudy, man. He did not make it in the second season. Bob is deceased.
He just got mauled by fucking demo dogs. Oh, man.
Oh, he sacrificed himself to
I remember
save,
that. Honestly, that's like what I remember the most from that season. Just seeing his horrific death. Just getting fucking mauled.
He's so little.
He's so little. He's so adorable.
I know. That was definitely the heartbreaker kill of the season. Everybody, by the end of that season, loved Bob.
Poor Bob. Poor Bob. Poor Bob, may rest in peace.
How many times have you been killed by a Demogorgon? Now that makes a baker's dozen, Bob.
It's a baker's dozen, Bob. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Bears.
All right, man. Well, hey, before we take a short break, you got anything else you'd like to add to season 2? I know we were pretty broad and vague about some things, but we definitely wanted to just get the main points of where some of these main characters left off and what we're going to see going into season 3. But got anything else?
Nah, fuck this show. I want more answers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Give me more answers, and I think we will be all right. But in the meantime, we're going to take a short break, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. See you soon. Welcome back from that very, very short break, but just enough for me and Mike Michio here just to take a quick breather to get ready for this next segment. And maybe some mental and physical stretches. You know what I mean? It gets cramped under this desk.
It sure does, dude. Like, you have no idea. Like, I've been in a closet this whole time.
Just a Harry Potter under the stairs closet. It's very depressing. I'm going to have to have a conversation with your wife because I feel like that's domestic abuse in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Right. We'll have to talk about that.
I didn't mean to announce your troubles over everybody.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. I really fucking appreciate it. Jesus. Fuck.
Everybody knows your business, man. Everybody.
Get off my shit, bro.
All right. Well, dude, are you a fan of the, I should say the second Jumanji, since the first one, obviously, Robin Williams rendition, but were you a fan of the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart and Jack Black?
So, here's the deal. I absolutely adore Jumanji. And this Jumanji Rebirth, I definitely, at first was very, very skeptical going into it. But after, obviously, critics, definitely spoke up and said, this is actually a fun, holiday, surprise, right? And, yeah, man, it was not bad. It was pretty damn good. It kind of reminded me a lot of, if you remember, the first Night at the Museum series. Mm-hmm. So,
yep.
I definitely enjoyed that first movie. And the thing is like, what's interesting is that, obviously when this happens in Hollywood, if it makes a bunch of buku bucks, for this first iteration, like within 2-3 years, they're going to pump out that sequel as soon as possible, right? So I definitely enjoyed Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. I thought it was a complete
refresh of the concept of the Jumanji series and the game itself, and I enjoyed it, man. I really did.
Plus, it had to do with video games, which is right up your alley.
Yeah.
So I figured you would like that one too. Just that little cool little spin on it. But I didn't even get to finish, man, with the characters. I know I said Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, but we got our own Nebula on the cast too with Karen Gillan.
With no makeup.
And,
Beautiful.
Dude, she is just, dude, she's killer in this. I fucking
she's awesome.
Love her dance fighting. Is
Baby,
just,
I love your way every day.
Every day.
Yeah. Such a good song.
I feel like Mel Brooks sometimes. It's like everything we do, we have to intro a song into it. Like we have to sing at least once in one of our podcasts, which is it's not a bad thing. I'm just calling it out.
I mean, life is short, man. I mean, if you can't enjoy beautiful soul music, I don't know what you're living for.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, no, dude, I loved this movie. I watched this movie first with Nicole, and just as like a date night movie. We knew it was going to be goofy and fun, and just like I got way more out of it than I thought I was going to get. Dwayne Johnson, for one thing, he's a great actor. Seems like a lovely person in just real life, which makes me like him even more. But the big surprise for me was, and not a huge, because I know they were in other roles, but his relationship with Kevin Hart and their actual chemistry on film together within a comedy world is just on point. It's just they just do so well working with each other. And they complimented each other so well in this that I just like couldn't keep my eyes off the screen. I was just entertained the whole way through as soon as those characters were introduced. The kids who played these characters as well were awesome, but obviously they were just in for a short stint in the beginning and the end. The main focus obviously being those main actors I already talked about. But yeah, those two were awesome. Jack Black is Jack Black. I feel like I don't really have to say anything about Jack Black other than he's a brilliant comedian who really dives into anything you give him. He's not a shy guy, obviously. He'll fucking do any role you ask him to do, and he just knocks it out of the park. He was awesome playing a female character, and that just, again, everything that was given to me in the first movie was just hilarious. I loved it. I loved it so much. So, yeah, that makes me very, very much excited for the second one, but I have to tell you, Mike, I don't do well with change, man. I just don't. I really don't. I find myself watching this trailer and I'm like, man, I loved the second one, I should say, so much. But I loved it because of what they did in the second one. I liked the kids being those particular actors. I liked the nerdy, scrawny kid being Dwayne Johnson. I liked the big, tall athlete, big, strong athlete being Kevin Hart, small Kevin Hart. You know, I liked the female, like, prissy girl who couldn't stay off her phone being Jack Black. I love what they did. Yeah. And now, once we watch this trailer together, which we of course have seen, there's just certain things that we can touch on afterwards that I don't have my doubts about them, but I'm just nervous. A little nervous about them. But I'm excited to watch this with you, and I feel like we should just jump right into it if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, let's go for it. I mean, at this point, you know, like we were saying, like, you know, it feels like this is just another rehash of the formula that worked for Welcome to the Jungle. So, you know, we'll see. I mean, I'm definitely on board with what you're saying. Like, I'm a little skeptical because just due to the fact that, you know, this came out, 2017 of like holiday time, and here we are less than 2 years later, and, you know, we're getting another sequel. And I don't know, like, I don't know how much could change in less than 2 years that could just be worth of, you know, being, you know, actually being warranted of another sequel versus this just being another cash cow at this point. So, but I mean, the thing is, I mean, it's going to have, like you were saying, it's going to be building off of the great chemistry that obviously Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart have, which obviously they built off of from. Did you ever see that movie Central Intelligence? That was really funny.
Did.
So they had some great chemistry in that movie, and you know, just to see them grow into this franchise is great as well. So, you know, I'm not saying that I'm not super excited for it, but I have got some feelings reserved for it, but I'm definitely after it was an absolute surprise. Welcome to the Jungle. It was an absolute surprise. So, I'm actually kind of excited for this, but, you know, I will definitely hold my. I don't know. Let's just do it. Let's just watch this fucking trailer.
All right. And this is going to be Jumanji, the next level, coming December 13th this year. Let's watch this sucker. 3, 2, 1. All right.
Friends. It's
Hey,
Danny
how can you go wrong with Danny DeVito? How can you? Can't.
When we first got together,
Frank Reynolds.
we were different people. In the game.
So we got the original guy who played, what's his name, Tyler?
Yeah, I believe so.
Grandpa Eddie?
Anthony?
This is Martha and Bethany. This is Spencer's grandfather.
Nice to meet you.
Morning.
Spencer's
Spencer.
grandfather. There
You're
you
not
go.
barging, he's barging.
Not
My
Tyler,
little
Spencer.
Did you guys see Spencer?
So we got the original 4 gang back together.
Go get him.
Spencer is now jumped back into Jumanji after repairing it. But it's faulty, right? It's sparking.
Yep. It's glitching,
Danny Glover. Oh,
right?
God.
What's he been up to? Not much these days.
Ruby Roundhouse, just roundhouse people right in the face.
What?
Who are you?
Who are you?
You're Spencer's grandfather.
Who are you? Danny DeVito is
And you?
Dwayne Johnson, everybody.
Did I die in some kind of a small, muscular Boy Scout?
Kevin Hart trying to be Danny Glover is pretty awesome.
Bethany? No! Rich!
And now Jack Black, being an African-American male, is going to be hysterical.
Feels good now. Look at my thighs. Look at your thighs. Look at my
Look at these thighs.
Look at my thighs, Mike.
It was a game. I'm not it.
Oh, here you go. Here's your game host. Love that guy.
Yeah.
This next venture is even more challenging.
I always love the scenes that they actually put out, though. Before it was the jungle, now we're seeing just a bunch of different terrain. That looks pretty cool.
We did die.
Are we in hell?
I knew it.
Oh my god.
All in the
All the animals,
wonderful green.
classic Jumanji. Still looks like we're going to get a fair amount of good.
Oh man, talk about Jungle Cruise from Disneyland right there. That's awesome.
We got Jonas Bro back in it
Yep.
too. Nick
Yeah.
Jonas.
And Aquafina, right?
Yeah, so I'm wondering if what's his name?
It's your strengths and weaknesses.
Smoldering intensity?
Oh, I love this scene.
Smoldering Intensity.
You having a heart attack? Breathe.
Breathe, breathe, motherfucker.
Shutting down. Eddie.
The whole left side shut.
Are you having a heart attack? Oh my god, breathe, breathe, breathe. Save yourself, son.
That's so funny, dude. So I'm wondering if young Spencer is going to be Nick Jonas, is what I was trying to get out before I got re-distracted into the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, could be. I mean, you know what's really
I mean, that character's open but I did see that Colin Hanks, who played the older kid from the first
Yeah.
one, says to be in
Yes,
this.
he is, and he is awesome. I don't know if you ever watched that show, Life in Pieces. That's such a good show.
Oh, it's one of my favorite
Such a good
shows,
show.
dude. See, this is why we're friends. We have similar
Yes.
tastes. This is why we do a podcast together,
So
I guess.
good. See, we just found that out through the podcast. That's awesome.
Already learning stuff
Yeah,
about
there you
each
go.
other.
No, dude, so I'm excited. I'm not gonna, just shit all over this. I'm a little bit hesitant just because of the fact that it's less than 2 years from the last one. That's the only reason. Typically this just in Hollywood, when you hear a sequel coming out this fast, it doesn't necessarily bode well. But I mean, I don't know if there's been an actual plan all along to, actually have a sequel this fast come out. If so, then, more power to them. But, I'm definitely going to watch it. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm definitely going to watch it too. It's definitely something I am looking forward to. But like I said, I just have a problem with change in that aspect that I loved the second one so much with the characters, within the kids who became the adults, that it's just going to be hard for me to swallow the new, Danny DeVito being Dwayne Johnson, Danny Glover being Kevin Hart. It's not going to be bad. It's just, again, it's going to be so different that I don't know if I'm going to love it the same way. There's no way of me knowing that, and obviously until we see it. But I do have confidence, obviously, in those individual actors to do well. It's just, again, it's going to be the writing to see how they actually present them, and from what we see from the trailer, though, I guess I shouldn't be worrying too much because I've laughed my ass off now probably 5 times seeing that trailer. So it definitely looks like something that I will be seeing probably opening day in theater, to be honest.
No, I mean, so, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll be there opening day, but I'm definitely, this is definitely on my docket to definitely, I obviously own the Welcome to the Jungle and Jumanji, the original. I mean, Robin Williams, may he rest in peace, but, like, just an absolute talent, and that first movie was just incredible. Alan Parrish, for me, like, that character, was so interesting, it's a completely different tone from the first movie, because that movie had more of, like, a heartfelt, actual, experience as far as, like, him, disconnecting from his, obviously, from his father, and then able to go through that film and, actually see his parents, at the end of the story or whatnot, right? So it's interesting to see how, these next 2 movies have been really, they're completely different themes, right? Like, they're absolutely different. I mean, do you remember that Zathura movie that came out that was kind of like based off of like the idea of Jumanji?
I do not know.
So that was like a space version of like Jumanji, right? And that was another iteration of kind of like, playing off the idea of Jumanji. So I don't know. What I'm basically just trying to say is, this is a completely different, it's for a new generation. I'm super excited to see, where the third one might go. I'm honestly, we can have this discussion right now. Do you even consider this like the third movie, or do you consider this just the direct sequel to, obviously, Welcome to the Jungle? Like, it's
100%. I think of it as a direct sequel. That's why I actually keep having a hard time saying number 3.
It's weird, right? It's weird saying number 3 because I feel like they're completely different. They're completely different ballparks at this point. It just feels different.
Feels dirty.
Yeah, if it just feels dirty. So,
dirty,
yeah,
man.
It just does. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, but I'm very, very excited for this movie. I think it's going to be just a hilarious one for the family to go out and see. That's the best part about these. They're not raunchy. They're not dirty.
Yeah.
They just have some clever, fast quip comedy that's good for really everybody. So I think that's going to be a really popular one for the holiday, which is great when they release it that close to Christmas a couple weeks before. So that's pretty fun.
It's definitely going to be a crowd pleaser around the holidays for sure. I guess my biggest gripe is, for the plot hole. For the plot itself. Could you actually? These characters just went through this experience in the last movie. It's so funny to see that they actually slip into the same fate again in the upcoming movie itself. So it's interesting to see that it's the same. Not everyone is the same, but like there's some. There's definitely some characters that are from that Welcome to the Jungle movie. So. It'll be interesting. Yeah.
I like that he obviously liked being the character. He went back trying to be the character that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson plays. And obviously, and I'm talking about Spencer, and he obviously tries to repair. I believe they threw like a bowling ball or a rock on top of the actual console at the end of the second one. Gosh darn it, I keep doing it. But you could see him repair it. So everything is glitched now. Everything's sparking. Nothing's working the way it was. So he gets into the game. It's interesting to see that they pull Danny DeVito and Danny Glover because they are not close to the game. They're actually further away. So I don't know if this means that it doesn't matter how far you are. If the game wants you, it'll get you. So maybe that explains why Colin Hanks is maybe possibly back in the game also. Yeah, man, it's going to be very interesting to see how they work this out. It's again a lot of questions going into it. We'll see.
So what's your focus meter on it?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a strong good. To be honest, I just in good conscience, I cannot give it a maximum just yet. Again, just my own personal being, not doing well with just that dramatic of a change of character of one that I was a beloved character for me within the last one. I just couldn't give it a maximum. But I still think that this is going to be a terrific movie regardless. Something to go and actually be entertaining, like I said, for not only you, but the family as well. If you have somebody to take, then I suggest going as a group, I think it'd be a fun friend outing or date night. I think it's going to be a great movie. So, again, I have my reservations, but not enough to say anything lower than a strong good. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of going to echo your sentiment, but, for me, it's, I mean, I definitely have my reservations on it. I'm going to basically lean on more of the average focus, just due to the fact that, from history proves that, when you see a sequel this fast, it just doesn't bode well. And like I mentioned earlier, the Night in the Museum series, definitely was a cash cow after its first movie. And at that point, they just kept pumping out, sequel after sequel. And, each iteration, became, a little bit, worse than, after its predecessor. So at this point, it's just an average for me. But that doesn't mean that I'm not excited for it. I definitely will be checking it out, around the holidays. So, I'm borderline excited for it, but I'm not over the hill for it either. But and just as much as I was for Welcome to the Jungle, even though that was a surprise, but here we are again. Who knows? You have no. I mean, I have no idea. So I could be absolutely wrong, and I could be eating my own words. So who knows?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm glad we got to watch that together and give some feedback and a little bit of information. And like I said before, this is coming out in perfect time for the holiday. I think this is my third time saying it, but that's okay. But it is, but it's coming out December 13th.
It's all right, dude. It's 2 a.m., bro. Yeah. Everyone understands.
Yeah, we're good, man. We're good. All right, so we're gonna move on ahead, and we're gonna go into 2021, The Batman. All right. Ben Affleck, right, bud?
Batman. Yeah, I think it's Batman, right? Like, I think it's definitely Ben Affleck that's writing and directing this. No, wait. Hold up. You're wrong.
No.
Yeah. Who's directing this now? Mr. Planet of the Apes guy? Matt Reeves, is that right? Yeah?
Yep.
All right.
What do you think?
Like,
what do you think about that?
I fucking love that series, so this should be a great movie, right?
It really depends, man. I mean, again, I'm reading a lot about it being more of a detective movie than it is just throw on the cowl and beat the shit out of people movie, which a lot of people has been wanting, which is good. But it is weird that Ben Affleck is actually a writer still attached to the screenplay, within these earlier stages at least. So I'm hoping he doesn't have too much influence. Actually, but like we said off recording, Ben Affleck is a much better writer than he is an actor. So
he is. He absolutely is.
Yeah, and
I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah.
Good Will Hunting was an incredible movie.
Yeah, incredible. And you know what? He likes these type of movies. I mean, he's been outward about he wanted to be Batman. When they gave him that role, he was eager to play it. So
what's the other movie he wrote and directed? Was it The Town with Jeremy Renner and him and Damon?
What if I was just totally off base and I was like, dude, Daredevil was something he wrote, directed, and acted.
Dude, I forget the name of the director. Was it Mark Steven Johnson, I'm thinking, that directed Daredevil, but also directed Ghost Rider. So what does that say? Those are some of the worst Marvel movies of all time. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of questions going into this movie, and obviously we still have quite some time. I mean, we're just getting I mean, they haven't even come out with like a poster. You know what I mean? They just went into pre-production of this.
Wow.
I think within the last couple weeks.
That's actually faster than I was thinking. So that's honestly makes me wonder if we're going to hear anything at Comic-Con a little bit. Just just a touch base of where things are at. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm already kind of interested in the fact that obviously Matt Reeves is directing it, but like the rumor last week or whatever that what's his face is going to be affiliated with this, Andy Serkis.
Yeah, so,
obviously from Planet of the Apes. Duh.
Yeah. So again, Andy Serkis is somebody that I've now. The last thing I recognized him in was in the MCU, right? I mean, he was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think the last time we really saw him was in Age of Ultron, because I think Ultron rips off his hand at some point. Anyway, regardless, I remember seeing him in the MCU.
Yeah, I forget his name. Whatever. He's a fucking musclehead or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And he was going after everything in Uganda. Oh, so he was in Black Panther too. That's right. He was in Black Panther. But regardless, that's where I remember seeing him last. So it's interesting to see him now wanting to be affiliated with something within DC. Not like it's a big deal or anything, but it's just funny to see somebody in both universes like that. But he's rumored to be going after the role of Penguin.
Which sounds awesome. I think that's a great portrayal.
Well, I'm not too excited about the Penguin being a villain for the Batman.
Really? Why is that? Danny DeVito is just like absolute gold for you?
What if I was just that stuck? I was like, I saw Danny DeVito interpretation of it, and I don't want to say no. You know what? I just want to see a different villain. That's the only reason. I don't think he's going to do a poor job. I don't. I think whatever we get, if he does end up playing the Penguin, I think it'll be excellent. I honestly, or at least, I shouldn't say excellent. I should say I think it'll be at least entertaining enough to where he's a good actor and he'll do a good job. But I was really hoping for some deep dives into some brand new characters. There's some older ones that I wouldn't mind them doing over again. Like, I know there's been talk about multiple villains in this movie, and the Riddler being one of them. And I know everybody's gung-ho right now. They're like, get Macaulay Culkin to play the Riddler, which would be kind of cool. Or the Joker, or a different version of the Joker. I think because he just already has that big smile on him, it might be even a different rendition of him. But regardless, I wouldn't mind seeing the Riddler over again, because Jim Carrey's version of it was very slapstick.
Yeah.
It was just over the top. Where this is going to be a much darker, more serious role, bringing it back, into obviously 2021. And so it'd be a completely different character, but I would love to see a darker, methodical, like, Riddler. I think he's a great character.
That's true. But, I mean, the thing is, like, more time has passed that we haven't seen Penguin in live-action film.
But what is Penguin? Let's talk about Penguin for a second. Penguin's still very much a mob boss, right? He has his own crew of people. He lives underground in the sewer system, right?
Yep.
And he also has gadgets and shit too. He likes to fuck with, correct? I mean, little explosives and time bombs and all that kind of shit.
He has a whole penguin army.
Yeah, I don't know. He just doesn't do it for me, man. As a character that I would want to see in a movie, again, I don't think he would do a bad job, Andy Serkis, at all. But again, if I had to choose, he wouldn't even be in my top 5 of who I would want to see in a brand new, what they're saying, completely different from what we've seen in the past, Batman. I'd want somebody like they do in the Marvel Universe, even like they do in DC, kind of like what James Gunn is doing. Like, I've mentioned this multiple times, but bringing up somebody like the Polka Dot Man. I bet you if we did a survey and we went out in the middle of a fucking park and we asked 100 people who the Polka Dot Man was, like actually knew who they were, how many people are going to know the Polka Dot Man out of 100 people?
345.
5?
No, just kidding. No.
5 to 10, maybe?
If that. Yeah.
If that. But, that's what it's all about.
Here's the thing.
Much material with Batman.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. Like, they're already taking a chance with rebranding Batman and casting a new Batman that, like, DC is hard-pressed not to pick an iconic villain at that point. So they're playing it pretty safe, by picking.
And I get it. I do.
I mean, that's the big thing. So I agree with you. I would rather see like a Riddler, at this point, just because, like you were saying, those Joel Schumacher films with, obviously, depicting Riddler, Mr. Freeze, and Two-Face or whatever, they were very over the top, and, I'd love to see more of an iconic interpretation of them that's not so corny and more realistic as to what we've seen, obviously, in the Dark Knight series characters and whatnot. So, yeah, I definitely would love to see more of, to see a Riddler, in itself. So, yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you on that, but I do see Andy Serkis actually playing off the Penguin very well. I don't know if it's, going to be to anybody's, main liking, just due to the fact that you're right. He's just a fucking mob boss. He doesn't have, any, amazing, super abilities or anything like that or whatever, right? So, I mean, for me, the one character I feel that doesn't really that really hasn't had its own justice, obviously just due to the fact that he was just portrayed in the Batman and Robin movie, was obviously Victor Freeze, which is, Mr. Freeze himself. There's a lot to play there, with as far as the in-depth of his character, with, him being, turned mad after, trying to preserve his wife and whatnot, and, try to cure her illness. So,
I agree with that. I would much rather see.
Yeah, I feel like there's something to
Victor Freeze.
There's a lot more drama to play with there than I feel even Penguin himself, because the Falcone character in the Dark Knight series was almost like a Cobblepot character as well, which is the Penguin. So I don't know. Like you're saying, like it's going to be. I hope that, fingers crossed, that maybe we get a multi-villain movie with this, and maybe we do get maybe a Penguin Riddler, or maybe it's, what is it going to be, Penguin or maybe Catwoman at this point?
Catwoman is confirmed, so
which is interesting because that is literally Batman Returns, like reincarnate right there. That's Penguin and Catwoman.
Yep. So exactly. And right now on the list for Catwoman, the number one runner-up right now is Vanessa Kirby. And if you don't know who she is, she was actually in The Crown. She played Princess Margaret. She was in a Mission Impossible movie in 2018, The White Widow. She was in the romantic comedy The About Time. I mean, she's been in a lot of stuff. That's just a couple of the bigger name ones, just for frame of reference. But she right now is who they are looking at seriously considering for the Catwoman role. So it'll be very interesting to see if that actually goes forward.
No, that'll be yeah.
I mean, she's got the look. I mean, she does. She definitely has the look to it when you actually look her picture up. And when I say look, I just mean she almost looks like who was it? Michelle Pfeiffer, right? Catwoman.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah. She kind of looks like that. She has that kind of, blonde, slick back, longer hair, but she looks like she could play that role to where, Michelle Pfeiffer was.
Oh, sure.
And I thought her rendition was actually pretty damn good, to be honest.
No, I have no complaints. I mean, if that's who they go with, I feel like they're setting themselves up pretty well. I mean, the big thing here is going to be obviously Robert Pattinson. Was it Patterson or Pattinson? Whatever.
Pattinson.
Yeah, whatever his interpretation is of Batman, that's going to set the tone for the film, because it's not so much the villain as much as it is about the hero in this movie. So, I mean, this is a dual impression as far as you're introducing a new hero that's obviously a new actor that's playing this iconic hero, as well as, whatever new interpretation of some villain that we've already seen. So, yeah, man, it's, I honestly, I'm actually really excited for this movie just due to the fact that Matt Reeves is directing it. I feel like I loved every direction he went with the Planet of the Apes series. So I got some high hopes for this, and it comes down to a focus meter on this. Like, this is going to get my maximum focus because I freaking love Batman. I feel like everything is setting up for, getting Batman back on track, and I'm actually really excited for this.
Yeah, I'm going to echo that and give it a maximum focus, only in the sense of pure and utter curiosity. I mean,
exactly.
How can you not be focused hardcore on something like this when you just don't know what to expect, but you're just eager to find as much information? Not only just information, but you just want to see how they portray one of the most beloved superheroes of all time, right?
Yeah.
So within that, I mean, it definitely has my maximum focus also. And I know as more news actually comes out and we gather it, I think we'll always just maybe, as big things come out, we'll always mention it in a podcast and make sure we update everybody on kind of the latest news that comes forward, and that way everybody's on track and everybody can stay excited just like us on our way to watching this thing in about a year and a half, which I know seems like a long time, but honestly I can't believe where we are this year, so I don't know if it's going to take that long at all.
God, it's coming out next year? Or is it in 2021?
I mean, we're 5 months away from 2020, so...
Jesus, wow.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it seems like a long time, and then all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, it's going to be 2020, and then we're going to say it's only a year away, and then before you know it, it's going to be here. So
crazy.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to see further casting down the line. I'm excited to see pictures, posters, all that fun stuff that we'll be obviously posting to our website and to our Twitter page and everything else. So it'll be fun going forward for sure.
Here's something interesting I just want to bring up real quick. So let's say this movie in its own right does pretty well and sets itself apart as far as, you know, it feels like it's dark enough and it feels like it's appropriate enough that what do you think about it combining universes with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie at some point?
I knew you were going to ask me that because I felt it deep in my Peter tingle.
your Peter tingle's going off, man.
My Peter tingle was firing on all cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I feel like that's not out of the realm of possibility.
Okay, well, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities, but to be honest, I don't know if I would necessarily want it.
Interesting.
Only because I think what we're going to get, the rated R version of the Joker, is going to be so unique, and it's going to be so much about the villain that I think everybody's going to... It's going to surprise people. It really is. I think it's going to be surprising, and I know you stated this, Mike. I think it's going to surprise people that you're going to be almost rooting for the villain. Yep. And you're going to be excited to watch a villain as the main character in a movie, to where I think that they're not going to want to share that. I think they're just going to want to, if anything, maybe continue that story. If I were a betting man, I would say they would not combine it, and they would keep it as its own separate universe / movie. But, again...
That's true.
Obviously, I know nothing about that, but if I had to put money on it, that's at least where I would take it. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, to be honest, especially if you blow it out of the water and the Joker is just a huge success. Why threaten that with the potential of something that's not certain? You know what I mean?
No, and I mean, Joker itself, you know, I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, if his portrayal of this character is on point, which... by every means, it looks like it is from the trailer.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, it looks so good, but from this point. But let's just say, like, we're looking at this movie and we're thinking, you know, obviously trilogy at this point, or sequel, obviously sequels. How do we not have Batman at some point? And if that's the case, would you not want to see Robert Pattinson, you know, cross into this franchise, or do you really want it to be?
Remind you, the Joker shows possibly a young Bruce Wayne. There's no way that they can bring up 20-something plus years and Joaquin Phoenix Joker not look like an old man.
No, that's true. Like I mean, the most they can probably age him at this point is probably like 15 to maybe 20 years for it to be like, you know, almost acceptable. You know,
and it depends how they age Robert Pattinson in this upcoming Batman movie.
Exactly. So I mean,
in order to do that, so there's still, I mean, possibility. Absolutely. It's always a possibility.
I mean, you're thinking at a 20-something-year-old Bruce Wayne Batman at that point. So, because I mean, in that trailer, that kid looks like he's what,
5, 6?
Yeah, 6, 8, whatever. Like, who knows? So,
I mean, he can have Tom Holland syndrome and be 12 and look 5. Who knows?
No, that's true. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that leaves. Yeah, I guess that leaves it open for, you know, the Batman movie to have its own separate Joker at that point. So, yeah.
Which is fine, too, man. Again, if they're separate universes and they want to make them their own different named characters, then I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah. No, I have no problem with that, you know, at all, actually. It's not, you know, any issue on, you know, as far as how they want to go about it. It's just whether or not, you know, you don't know what you could possibly do with these characters until you know, obviously go through, you know, the releases of these films and see like what successes you have with these, you know, with these characters that you actually think like you have an MCU, you know, actual, set up in front of you, which obviously DC has not been fortunate enough to have at this point. So the way that they've been setting this up is that, I kind of like the fact that they've been isolating these different universes, and I am hoping that they actually stick to their guns and actually keep these universes separate and not follow the Marvel formula, because in doing that, it's going to actually lead to just much better storytelling and a much better portrayal of these iconic characters. And that's just my overall opinion on it.
No, well said. I agree. I agree completely. All right, well, that's all I got for updated news on the Batman. Like I said, it's still very, very new. Just went into pre-production, so we don't have a lot of information. But as time goes on, we will, and we will share it with everybody as soon as we know it. So, Mike, do you have anything else, or can we let these poor folks go? Actually, you know what? Let us go. You know what I mean? It's time to sleep. It's time for sleep.
I want to go to bed, motherfucker. Oh man, no. This is a hoot. I don't know if we mentioned it in our last podcast, but we definitely appreciate the support. We've seen a lot of push and pull for, our listenership going up, and we're definitely appreciative of, everything that's been coming our way. So absolutely thank you to all the Focus fanatics. It's very much appreciated.
Yeah. Ditto that for sure. We much appreciate all the support, and like we always say, you can find us at Twitter at What's the Focus. We have our website at whatsthefocus.net. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, all those major platforms. Please tune in. I think our next episode's probably not going to be until mid next week. So look forward to that, and we will drop definitely a poster or something on all the media platforms to let you know what we're going to be talking about. So until then, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, happy 4th of July, everyone. Bye.
Happy 4th. Bye.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since people found out about your a cappella group, Mad Harmony, but you will bounce back. I mean, you're the guy always helping people find coverage options with the Name Your Price tool. It should be you giving me the pep talk. Now get out there, hit that high note, and take Mad Harmony all the way to nationals this year! Sorry, it's pitchy.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
And now, an ad from Dad.
All right, save money on car insurance when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Can I take these off? All right. What is this? This looks good. Wow. That's well made. Where did you get this? I'm talking to you with the hair. Yeah, where did you get this? It's good stuff. That's solid. That's not veneer. That's solid stuff.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, Affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.